Welcome to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast, a relaxing and informative show where we explore anxiety, panic, and PTSD, sharing how you can overcome them for life.
Aloha! Welcome back to the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. I'm your host and coach, Gina Ryan, and I am so happy to be with you again today as together we can consider the many ways to bring your mind and body back to its natural peace and calm. In today's episode, I'm answering a listener's question. Coping with anxiety and cleaning was the subject, so let's get into this. Jay sent in a question, and he is a mini group member, and he's also, of course, a member in the Supercast, and he left his question in the AMA and Supercast. So if you're a Supercast member, you can leave questions for me in the AMA also, the Ask Me Anything section. But he asked, what recommendations do you have around someone who gets anxiety around the place not being clean? Thank you. Thanks, Jay, for sending that in. And I did tell you that I would use this as a springboard for an episode because I think it's a great subject. There are a few ways for me to view this question. So first, I want to look at it from the perspective of being in a messy environment and that desire or wanting it to be cleaner where you have some control. So what I mean by that is, say you are home and your place is messy and not cleaned. You have control over your home. So this could be tackled by getting into action. Or maybe you're not the primary person that takes care of the home. The action that you would take maybe wouldn't be to pull out the vacuum cleaner and start organizing the bookcase too, but to speak with the person who in your home, whether that's your teenagers or your partner, it could be somebody who actually you hire to do cleaning for you. So the action you take will vary, but if it's you that is in control of it all, you could take some action. And this clear-cut action is often a way to eliminate the nagging, anxious thoughts that are going round and round in our mind about what we need to accomplish. And this is an anxious feeling around our own procrastination. Now, procrastination is not always a bad thing. Sometimes we are procrastinating because we need more information, or we need more tools, or perhaps we need more people to help us with what we want to get done. But we want to ask this question. This is where we want to begin by being kind and compassionate to ourselves and asking the question, what needs to be done here? And what can I do here to help alleviate this messy situation? Now, there's another way to look at Jay's question, and that is if you're in an environment that is not clean or is dirty and you don't have control over the environment, such as your workplace or somebody else's home or a public setting. This dirty kind of environment or messy environment will cause somebody who has a tendency toward cleanliness to be bothered naturally. This isn't a bad thing to be bothered by that. The first feeling of discomfort could be protective, such as, geez, this place looks kind of gross. Should we really consider eating here? Or if it's a public restroom and it's dirty, you feel discomfort so that you know you don't linger there any longer than necessary. That's okay. You just move along. Take care of yourself and move along. This protective discomfort or the anxious feeling is only a problem when the feelings begin to either overwhelm you or they continue even after you have moved on. So what I mean by this is that when the mind grabs a hold of the desire for things to be clean and orderly so that you can feel comfortable, and then it gets in the mind, and the mind says, you can only feel good or less anxious if things are clean and orderly. And then the cycle begins. The more we seek the clean and orderly in order to feel good and calm, the more the mind seeks the smaller and smaller things that are not in order or perfectly clean. And you can see that the anxious mind could just get tighter and tighter around this issue, not seeing the big picture anymore, but slowly focusing on smaller and smaller items that need to be put in order. And the reason that gets out of control is because the more your stress level goes up and the more you intrinsically want to bring it down, you will seek for a way to feel calm. And if you have attached feeling comfortable or calm only when things are clean and orderly, you will jump into action and start over cleaning, over organizing. And again, that's when it has slipped out of control. None of this is a problem. We all feel more comfortable and are able to think better when we're in a more organized and clean environment. And of course, that varies. There's a very big continuum there, depending on our personalities. Some people can put up with a lot more disorganization than others naturally. And that's where you will find where you're comfortable. But I want you to understand the cycle that starts when you are seeking cleanliness and order so that you can feel calm. Now, I have a lot more for you, but this is something you might want to check in with today's sponsor on. BetterHelp could help you with, if you needed someone to speak with because you felt this was out of control, check in with BetterHelp, because taking care of your thinking is a great way to feel better. How we think and deal with stress affects us, so how well we take care of our brain, our mind, and our thinking is vital for how we experience life. I'm reminding you right now that you're worth the time and effort to care for yourself, mind and body. I have someone to talk with to help me care for my mind and body, and you can too. BetterHelp Online Therapy offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so it's so much easier than you may think. It's super affordable, and you can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/ACP. That's betterhelp.com/ACP. I can really relate to this question that Jay sent in, because I know for myself that my stress levels could change, really alter the way that I saw my environment. Now, anyone who has ever been to my home will tell you it's clean and orderly, but not by any means excessively clean and orderly. Now, in the past, I have fallen into this way of seeking to be in control through cleaning when I was feeling dysregulated or feeling anxious. I could be bothered by what the listener was saying here, by things not being clean. It would bother me. Now, on a normal day, I would not even notice the very same dust bunnies or windows that needed washing. But let my stress level rise, and those very same things became glaring at me. They were huge, larger than life. Now, the next day, when all is well, they would go right back down to life-size proportions and be totally back in perspective. It depended how I was feeling inside and how much I was looking for a place to feel in control. Now, as someone who stayed home with my kids for probably 12 years or so, the home was somewhere that I had control over and that I prided myself on, and I could make changes there. So because I could feel like I could accomplish something, I could fall into that. If I was stressed, well, it would make me feel calmer or better. Now, the key here is to not keep going back to that. That's okay. And learning to say, which I have done over those years since then, to see that when I get that feeling, almost an obsessive feeling to want to get up and clean something or take care of something, tidy, whatever it is, that feeling is a red flag to me. Wait a minute, where am I at? Where is my stress level at? What's really bothering me? It isn't a basket of clothes that need folding. Those were there yesterday too. I have handled a basket of clothes before. What's really going on that is making me feel so much that I need to control right now? This is the question we want to ask ourselves. And we want to be able to see that versus the springing into action. Like I said earlier, action could be what you need to do, but it could also be leading you to more of a more obsessive kind of behavior. We have to get clear on this ourselves. Another note here on cleaning, or noticing that things are not clean, is that cleaning really gives us a feeling of control. And many people understand this. Control over our environment is like any other part of our lives, that control can be a good thing, or the anxious mind can take it to the extreme. We see clean, organized environments as clutter and disorganization can be super distracting and make it hard for us to focus or complete other projects. So it's natural to desire some level of calm and order in our homes, in our place of work, wherever. Of course, and this varies widely, like I said, with us, as we have all different levels of what feels organized to us. And different people can handle different levels of disorganization. Like some people feel creative in that kind of an environment. This does vary widely, but we can feel in ourselves when we are out of control with thinking about it or actually jumping into action with it obsessively. So to keep this from happening, or to back out of it, if it's already happening to you, I want you to bring your state back to a calmer place before you proceed with any cleaning or escaping. Sometimes we don't jump into action and actually take care of what's around there. Sometimes the action is to escape. In other words, I want you to question the impulse. You'll get that feeling, and it's usually overwhelming. It doesn't come on slowly. You get that impulse. And I want you to ask out of curiosity, not condemnation. I don't want you to be hard on yourself. That will only make the stress levels continue to rise, driving you more into relief-seeking behaviors, such as cleaning. Calm yourself at the moment by stopping and taking 3 breaths in through your nose. Nose breathing is super important, but I'm not going to go into that here right now. But I want you to breathe through your nose if you can. I know some people have different reasons that they cannot breathe through their nose. Obviously, you can just keep breathing as you do. That's most important. But if you can breathe through your nose, try to have that be your go-to. Let these breaths that come in through your nose be of normal length and depth. Not a lot of focus needs to be here. You don't need to change anything up here. The calming side of breathing is the exhale. The exhale is what stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system. For an example, if you want to be energizing yourself, you would be concentrating on the inhale. You can take those where you take in shorter but more breaths like that. We're not going to get into that right now. We're trying to go to the other side where we want to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our place of peace and calm. So this happens on the exhale. That's where I want your attention to be. As you begin to exhale through your nose, let it be slower. Really concentrate on slowing the air as it leaves your lungs and out through your nose. This in turn will extend the exhale, allowing the brain to receive the message to activate the parasympathetic side of your nervous system. Now, you can't be stimulating both sides at the same time, so we want to be letting go of stimulating the fight or flight side, and we want to go for the peace and calm. And so we do that with our exhalation. 3 of these breaths, longer and slower through your nose, can make a world of difference. And then you are in a place that you can question if your need to tidy is for anxiety relief or if you can let it be for now with a smile. Practice, practice, practice. This is not a once and done activity. You will do this over and over. It will become automatic at some point. This questioning and this breathing can be practiced, and over time, you will be amazed at the changes that you can make in your ability to be with discomfort, discomforts that once drove you into a state of overwhelm. All you have to do is practice, question, and you are doing it with curiosity. You are not going to beat yourself up. That only makes the red brain redder. We want to come back to a beautiful blue, peace and calm. So be with the discomfort. Let that impulse to clean or be upset about something that's not orderly be your red flag as to what is really going on inside me. Where is it that this stress is coming from, that I am seeing this disorder or this feeling, this need to clean as a relief, not as something that's on the to-do list that needs to be done, but as a way of compensating for my anxiety. Thank you, Jay, for leaving me your question in the AMA, Ask Me Anything, section of the Supercast Premium membership, and for being a part of the group coaching experience. I'd love to see more of you in there, so just head on over to the website for more, anxietycoachespodcast.com. Before I read today's quote, I was wondering if you prefer the show without ads, or perhaps you might like to have access to the entire back catalog of over 600 episodes. Maybe you'd like some bonus meditation episodes. All of that and more are available for $5 a month with our premium Supercast membership. Go to anxietycoaches.supercast.com and join us ad-free today. The link will be in the show notes. And now for today's quote. Every time you are tempted to react in the same old way, ask if you want to be a prisoner of the past or a pioneer of the future. And that's from Deepak Chopra. I'll be back in a few more days with another podcast. Until then, be well and aloha.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's episode of the Anxiety Coaches Podcast. Find more information at theanxietycoachespodcast.com.